Happy Friday. It's the end of the week, and now you get to settle down with some Jujutsu Kaisen content. I know, another JJK glazer. What is the world gonna do now? I admit, I jumped on the hype train of Jujutsu Kaisen, but I actually did follow the manga, so I'm actually all caught up, and I use this funny thing called my media literacy skills, and can actually understand, the very basic plot threads that have been laid out in the story, unlike every Twitter user. This very unique set of skills allows me to tell you why you don't understand Jujutsu Kaisen's ending, because it's a good ending, it's just probably not one we are expecting for Jujutsu Kaisen. It touches on themes that are different from what were established, but I think it's still related in a good way. So let's just jump into why I think the ending is really strong for Jujutsu Kaisen, even though it's not what we expected. So the parts of the ending I'm going to be talking about mostly is going to revolve around the final fight with Sukuna, which is just Yuji's part, and then what comes after that, because if we were to review the entire anti-Sukuna squad fight, that took months for Gege to tell. How do you think I could tell that in a YouTube video? The whole fight against every sorcerer in the entire series will come up later in why I like the ending, but I'm not going to focus on it too much for the entirety of the video, because that's another video that I'm not making. Unless. So, examining the part with Yuji versus Sukuna, by the way, if you aren't aware, spoiler alert, but in the final fight, Yuji opens a domain and starts fighting Sukuna, and when we were first reading this week to week, we found out that there was only going to be 5 chapters left from about the time he opened the domain, and that was pretty quick in overall, and I agree to some extent. I do think that the actual fight between the two could have gone on a little bit longer, but if you consider what we had just been through for the past 50 chapters, I don't really mind that the fight got cut off fairly short. And when we get an anime, obviously, because this has got to get an anime, it'll be expanded, kind of like Maharaga and Sukuna, so I think it'll be fine, because I think we were all getting a little tired of just fight. It was time to, slow down, start ending the series, and I think that was well done here. I think the revival of Nobara is strange. It's a strange choice, considering she'd been gone for the entirety of the series, since, that whole thing in Shibuya, and then she just got back, brought back for plot. I didn't really like that. I think they could have been handled a little bit better, but, I feel like when everybody was talking about, oh yeah, she's 100% coming back, Gege wouldn't have said maybe otherwise, or it was he said maybe, but he's just trolling us. Why is Gege even an author? I kind of fell back and forth between both camps, and I don't really like how it was handled, but just because I don't like the way it was done, I do like her impact on the story, bringing back resonance. English. Like other characters, she was taken out because her technique, well, not a technique, but resonance was too strong for the series to continue on with, so he brought her back at the very end of the series, which it's sure. I like that it's a nice callback to Mahito's fight against Yuji, so I think it's fine. And then Yuji ends the fight with, Black Flash, Divergent Fist, very nicely done. But this is just the unimportant stuff. This is more ending the fight stuff. I'm here to talk about the themes, so let's continue forward. We see Sukuna start fading away, and Yuji offering to take him into his body once again, so that he can have a second chance at a life. Well, it'd be his 4th chance, wouldn't it? But regardless, and Sukuna curses him away and tells him he would rather die, basically, which kind of brutal, but whatever, it's fine. And our boy Megami is brought back. He's pretty much fine. He's fine, basically. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember if his technique is useful, but he's fine. And the rest of the stuff that's brought up in the ending, with the shadow style, school, and all of that, I that was kind of dumb. But I understand that Gege wanted to explain what happened, but he should have done it somewhere else, in a guidebook or something. not at the end of the series. I hope they change that in the anime and like put it before, instead of keeping like this mystery that no one really cared about, I don't think. Because it wasn't that relevant, but going to what really matters. Quick amendment, I do like that they talked about their strategy not being like perfect. I do enjoy that because there was a lot of flack on the series for like their plan being a little silly, but I think that the characters in the story kind of talked about it. They explained their reasoning semi-well, I think believable enough, so I did like that. But anyway, go back to the thing. The real importance of the ending comes in the fabled chapter 271, where we have a couple of things going on in the chapter. The two I want to focus on is Yuji and the gang, and, you know, the very end with Sukuna and all that. So let's look at Yuji and the gang first. The entire thing is just to kind of see the gang back together doing, you know, their things, except they're, you know, like, it's like going into, like, the end of the game, you get all your, like, the levels up and stuff, and then going to the beginning, and then just running through the entire thing. But the only thing that really matters at this point is near the end, when they capture the guy, and Yuji goes over to talk to him because he notices that the guy they captured looks glum. Yuji is trying to cheer up the guy because he's like, hey, we're not going to kill you. We're not like that anymore, because this Jujutsu society is getting, like, reformed and all that. But the dude is still like, I should have known better, and I'm kind of disappointed in myself. And I really like this, that Yuji tells him it's okay, that he acknowledges his mistakes, and that he wants great things from him. And it's this scene, this very scene, that makes the ending for me, I think, along with the Sukuna's bit. But it's this scene of Yuji telling people that he expects things from them, taking what Gojo said to him, a different kind of strength, and trying to embody it, because that's what he is. That's what he has become. He's become this new type of strength, a new definition of it that can stand alongside the old definition. And that works really well in this story where, you know the meme, the strongest sorcerer of today versus the strongest sorcerer in history. We know the joke. But power and strength have been a very prominent theme throughout the story. And to have at the very end, our main character have a very sincere, genuine, and, like, pretty, like, unimportant, but still, like, unimportant event where he displays this new kind of power to just some random guy. I think that's exactly what his power is. This is the kind of strength that Gojo wants the new generation to have. This is the kind of power that beat Ryomen Sukuna. So let's talk about his part in the ending now, because it's really what made me, his words, his ending, really made me understand what Gege was trying to get across to the audience in this ending. At the crossroads where souls meet and traverse new paths and find reincarnation into the world, Sukuna meets Mahito for a third time, and they have a little bit of a conversation where Mahito basically calls out that Sukuna wasn't being honest and that he wanted revenge for the way people treated him in his early life. This isn't really that important, as Sukuna says, I wasn't really lying. There's not really a difference there, but I chose that path because it was the only one I could go on. That is the path I know, that is the path I will choose. But then he amends his words. He says, no, I could have done something else. There were two paths I could have taken, and he was afraid of his curse emulating him, to taking over. His hatred would consume him, and it did almost. He became this monster, barely even a human thing. You just look at him, he doesn't look human at all, much less act like one. And then, near the end, he says that it would have been nice to walk another path, and should there be another time, he might walk the very path Yuji walked, as they're both analogs to each other, both very, very similar. You know, Yuji had his grandpa, Sukuna had no one. Very similar paths in life. They could have ended up with the same thing, but they didn't, and Sukuna is choosing Yuji's way. And this is the real importance of the ending, because it shows that Sukuna does not regret anything he did, because if he did, that would have made him a much worse villain, in my opinion. acknowledging that he lost, and then accepting that his way may have not been the best way, and still not regretting walking the path he did in life is the right way to show Sukuna's growth from just hating Yuji because he stood against, he stood for something and he didn't, and then showing that Sukuna accepts that, yeah, I was wrong, and that's okay. There's something mature about that, knowing that, hey, I might be wrong, but I don't regret what I did. But willing to change yourself in the coming life and what comes next is a very mature thing for a character to do, and Sukuna does it here. There was no speech to tell Sukuna that, no, this is wrong, you have to love people, you have to be the best you can. This isn't My Hero Academia, this isn't Plus Ultra. It's just that Yuji's actions, Yuji's different kind of strength, his new brand of it. Sukuna saw it, and he thought it was right. He knew it was stronger at the end of his fight. Even from earlier in the raid, like I mentioned, we were going to talk about it, Sukuna starts thinking about how he doesn't really stand for anything, that maybe he's the one who's changed in his time without a vessel. Sukuna being willing to try the path of Yuji's brand of strength is just... It's very well done. It's not the themes we were expecting. It may not have been the ending we were expecting either. Some people were expecting Ryoma and Sukuna to destroy them all. I was one of them. Some people were waiting for Gojo to come back. You were delusional. But I don't think that just because we didn't get what we wanted doesn't mean that we can't appreciate what we do have. And it's not even fair to say that the themes brought up in this last chapter aren't related to the main story, because they are. Strength, the way you use it, the people around you who foster strong people or who isolate you to be the strongest. This is a very prevalent theme in the story. Strength is very important. It's a key factor of everybody's. It's the key factor of their growth as a character in almost every character in the story. Sukuna and Gojo are obvious. They're the strongest. The strength defines their lives. Kashimo, again, also obvious. But you have someone like Geto, who, he doesn't have the strength to wipe out the entire world, and he needs more of it. He devotes his life to this mission that he has to get. He has to succeed in it through gaining strength. Yuji is also a character driven by the need to get stronger, to defend those he cares about, and to make sure that the world is a better place, so he dies surrounded by the people he loves. In every character you can probably find some example of strength defining some part of their character, and by association, their character growth. Because strength is very important to this series as a theme, and it's not... I'm gonna be a little risky here, but strength isn't gendered in this, like most Western media, because I feel like a lot of our media tries to write strength as a very masculine and or feminine thing, when in reality it doesn't really matter what gender has strength. It doesn't influence the kind of strength they have. Like you know, you've got your macho men, and then you've got your, you know, indie movie, oh, I'm not like other girls, I'm just the strongest in my class kind of people. You know, you've been on Instagram. You're always gonna have those stories about people, like characters saying, oh, friendship is the biggest strength of them all, and then you got the villain saying, no, loneliness, But I think that this story, while the theme of strength and the right way, the right brand of it to have, has been explored before, I don't think it's been as well, not even said, because it's more showed, and it took me a little bit to actually understand what was being said in the ending. And I think that's the beautiful thing about it. The story isn't just going to tell you that, it wants to tell you about the right way to use strength, or the right way to live your life, because that's also a big piece of Jujutsu Kaisen's themes. But if this story was to just tell us outright, oh hey, this is the answer, this is what you should get from this ending, it would be pointless. And that's why I think that Jujutsu Kaisen's ending is really strong. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate you making it this far. I know that I may not have phrased this the best. I am kind of just going off the top of my head. Scripts take a long time to write, and I'm in college. Time doesn't exist for me anymore. I'm either in class, doing work, or whatever. So I know that my scripts or videos just kind of are a little disorganized. I'm trying to get better. I am writing a script for a big video that I've talked about in my Hades 2 video. But yeah, I'm sorry if I didn't explain my thoughts in a concise and clear way here. Also, again, sorry for the monotone voice. It's just the way I talk, and if I were to get louder, my roommates would shoot me. But I really do appreciate all the support I've been getting recently since I posted my Hollow Knight video. I say this every time, but I'm still gonna say it because I mean it. My channel has grown it's almost doubled in less than a month. And I don't know, I just feel really motivated to do this. I have some hobby to work on that I'm proud of. I'm making videos that maybe not the best. They're a little boring because I don't really do anything with the visuals right now. But I'm proud of what I'm saying. I'm proud of me taking the time to make something that I think is watchable, acceptable, entertaining enough. So, you know, you got something on your side monitor while you play like Baldur's Gate or something. But I'm just proud to be able to do this and give back something to someone. But yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling. Video next week, same time, or same day. Times, scheduling on YouTube is weird. It doesn't always send sometimes. But next Friday, got a video. I've got videos planned. Gonna get them pre-recorded, all of that. And then, yeah, I'll see you next week, I guess. See ya.